From the staff of Fitchburg Access Television, welcome to another episode of North Central Journal, featuring the cities and towns, the people, and the events here in North Central Massachusetts.
Hello and welcome again to North Central Journal. And back with us again this year as we talk about the Greater Gardner Relay for Life, which is coming up Friday, June 7th and Saturday, June 8th at Mount Wachusett Community College. And we're joined by the event co-leader, Marcia Sharkey, and a member of the event leadership team, Sandy Long. Welcome back to North Central Journal.
Thank you.
And here we are, another year. Last year was 30, so this would be 31, correct?
Correct, 31.
If my math is correct.
Good counting, yeah.
Let's talk about right away, off the top, the theme for this year's Relay for Life.
Theme is One Team, One Dream. And that theme, just so you know, is picked out by the team captains and the relayers. We choose that theme, so it's not just the leadership team doing it. But one team, one dream. And you can go many avenues with that, what kind of gearing sports themes, or some people are doing like a fantasy dream theme. So it will be interesting to see how things are decorated.
And you know, when I heard that that was going to be the theme for this year's relay, I'm thinking that cancer being what it is, and we've all been touched by it, and it does, for someone who has cancer, the caregivers, it is a team. It is a team effort.
Sure is, yeah.
Both for the person who's battling cancer and the people around him or her, and those who are caregivers and the support they get from one another as a team, supporting the person with cancer.
Right.
So it's
the whole
it's
event
a great
is
theme.
a team. The whole event is really a team effort.
Exactly.
Team effort. Yeah.
We'll talk about the leadership team too, because of course that's the key to the relay every year. Is these things don't get done without the people behind the scenes. Right. When did you start meeting to plan this year's relay?
We never stopped. We never stopped, Scott. We had July, I think, off. Sandy, do we have July off? And then we started again, and we started to plan our wrap-up kickoff in the fall, and we've been meeting every month since then. So we really never have stopped.
The relay begins at 6 o'clock officially with opening ceremonies. And let's talk about that first night. There's a lot of things going on, and it's a very emotional night in a lot of ways.
Yes.
So let's start with opening ceremonies. And what does that include?
Okay, I'll have Sandy talk about the survivor that will happen before and after, but the opening ceremony itself starts at 6 o'clock. And this year we hope again to have the torch run by the high school, local high schools, that will come in bringing a torch on the track and lighting the torch. But it's the opening ceremony, which is typical with, you know, the ROTC there, the band there, the teams doing their laps, recognizing everybody and lighting that torch and starting our Relay for Life event. But the important thing is it starts with the survivors.
Right.
So.
Yes. We have, and your lovely wife, Mickey, who is always behind the scenes. We start with a survivor reception around 3:30. And survivors and their caregivers can come in and have a light luncheon, dinner type thing. We have entertainment, Joanne Landry and her lady singers from, well, there's one man, I remember right, there's one man now. I can't say lady singer. From Gardner, they come in and entertain for about 45 minutes. We have different things. This year, Mickey's got some things planned, surprises for the survivors, and it's a great time to reconnect with those, you know, to see how they've handled this past year, what trials that they've gone through, and what tribulations and good things that they've incurred.
And the survivors, then there is a survivors lap.
They do a lap. They do a celebration lap.
Yeah.
And it's emotional many times because Sandy does do a speech that kind of, you know, gets everybody's, you know, awareness as far as the youngest relay is turning around and looking back at those who are 30 plus, and it gives them an incentive, gives them that hope that you need. So they are the ones that start that survivor lap, which is so important.
Yeah, it's a virtual indication of your journey through this horrible disease.
Yep.
But you know, the hope is there, and the love, and knowing that there's somebody that's already gone through this and that can help you.
The other event that I always reflect on Friday night is the Luminary event, and it's so touching, so emotional. And let's talk about what the Luminary event represents.
The luminaries itself are lit around the track, and they are in memory and in honor of people who have fought, we have lost. I mean, just anybody who's been diagnosed with cancer. There's a luminary bag that's on the track, and that luminary ceremony, which is led by Cheryl Bossy, our other co-lead. She has a beautiful ceremony, reflecting and remembering, and it's emotional. It's such an emotional time.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. And that ceremony, which lasts about half an hour to an hour, but it ends with us all doing a silent lap, which is, you just look up into the sky and you remember the people that you lost. So yeah, it's beautiful.
And
that's at 9 o'clock.
That's at 9 o'clock, yes. And then there's another lap for another group called the Caregivers.
Our
And is that Friday night or is that on Saturday?
That one's on Saturday,
yep.
From 9 to, we have a little caregivers reception and a lap 9 to 11, I think it is. And we usually have someone who, caregiver speaker, someone who's, and one thing that you need to remember is that you're always a caregiver, whether you just brought them a lunch, or you just sat with them for a while, or once your survivor has passed, as my mother has, you're still a caregiver. Mm-hmm. And we invite you to come up and join us in that honoring those special people. And that's, again, at 9 o'clock with the lap at 10.
And that's on Saturday.
Saturday morning.
Now, other events that are coming up, and we can talk about them. We don't want to date them because this show is going to run through the month of May. Mm-hmm. But like the Town Purple events, those are very special events as well. And they'll be occurring in May in different communities.
Yeah.
And what communities are represented there?
Go ahead, Sandy. This is your baby.
Your baby.
Well, it started out in Gardner many years ago, and it was just the sort of like the kickoff for leading up to the June relay. Mm-hmm. And when I got involved, I thought, gee, we should have some other towns. Little did I know it was going to take off like it did. But we now do it in Leominster and Westminster. Mm-hmm. And this year we are, with the help of Mayor Scalia, are going to do it here in Fitchburg at City Hall. And we're hoping that we'll have more people representing the city of Fitchburg at this one. We're planning a pretty good
I know that the support you've had from both Leominster and Gardner's mayors has been
they're phenomenal. They're phenomenal.
And even
They're
the Westminster Select Board has been there from day one. They have been phenomenal.
And Westminster.
Yeah.
And I know that Mayor Scalia, I interviewed her just after she was elected mayor. And I know that she was at the opening ceremonies last year as a city councilor.
She was.
And I thought she would probably step up and get behind this and get Fitchburg back into the, into the mix with Light the Town Purple.
Yeah.
So, tell everybody, watch for the dates and the times. We want Fitchburg to be really represented this year. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Now, if people want information about those dates, where can they go to find that?
On our website.
On your website?
On our website.
Is that the Relay for Life?
www.relayforlife.org/GTR Gardner MA. It's a long one, but it's, hopefully you can see it. Or they can go on the Facebook pages. Social media has the information also. And there'll be postings periodically up to the time of the events.
How important to the success of the relay? And when I mean success, I mean the fundraising. That's obviously what this is all about. How important to that success is the support from the communities, not only the cities around, but the towns around? all the communities that participate in the relay. How important is that support?
Huge. I mean, it's absolutely huge because it's not only support like for the survivors and the caregivers and the support, there to be there, but also the financial support because that's where the money goes. The money goes to the researchers, the money goes to patient services, the money goes to these different local events. And we've had a lot of money come back to Massachusetts for research too. So it's important from not only being physically there for hope and support, but being there financially to help the American Cancer Society find new treatments and cures. And we need everybody's support.
And we ask this every year because we think it's important to point out what percentage of the funds raised actually go back into research.
Okay, so 73 cents out of every dollar goes back to the American Cancer Society for their programs and their research. But it's not only, it's like rides to treatments. It's staying free in Hope Lodges. It's all these different things. But Massachusetts, currently, American Cancer Society is funding 63 grants totaling $34.7 million in Massachusetts alone. So, I mean, we have beautiful facilities in Boston that they saved my life. So I'm so thrilled. And I got the statistic that over the last 20 years, they have funded 45 grants in Massachusetts alone,
wow,
totaling over $90 million. So it's huge. So we need the support not only there to help us as survivors and caregivers, but also to help the American Cancer Society.
And this is a rebuilding effort from the COVID year when things just shut down.
Cancer didn't stop.
Cancer didn't stop, but the efforts to rebuild the relay,
right,
to get it back to where it was pre-COVID, right, continues.
Continues. I mean, we got hit. We got hit bad.
Yes.
The American Cancer Society got hit bad. But like I said, cancer didn't stop. So we have to continue, and we have to build it up. And we've got the enthusiasm coming back with a lot of people. It's really
That's great
nice
to hear.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about the importance of the support of communities for the Greater Gardner Relay for Life. What about business support? How does that play in? And are there some businesses you want to call out?
Oh, yes.
Oh, definitely. Well, of course, Mount Wachusett College for letting us use their track and making a whole new city for a couple of days, for a whole week, because it
takes a while to
set it up, and our logistics team is fantastic, tirelessly there the whole week.
Yeah.
And Hannaford Supermarkets. I get a hold of Mark Bono, and the next thing I know, we have water, and we have desserts, and we have this, and we have that. They're absolutely fantastic. And hopefully, if there's any other supermarkets out there that would like to help, the the Survivor Committee is looking for donations of like sandwiches and chips and things like that. So you can get a hold of us. We would love it. Workers Credit Union has over the years been very, very gracious with helping with bankers coming to count the money, and we are not funded by sponsors, corporate sponsors, like many of the other relays that make millions of dollars, okay? We're really a grassroots funded relay with the people out there raising most of the money by having their little dances and yard sales and cake sales.
Plant sales.
The plant sale. Oh, yes, you must know about those.
We're just starting
I
now.
finally bought a plant from them 2 years ago, and I have not killed it yet. That's the only one I haven't killed. I don't know what it is about that one. But, yes, we really need sponsors.
And I look at, FATV, that's one of our, great sponsors to put the word out. But even little people, like our logistics teams, get donations from Aubuchon's and Taylor Rental and things like that. So all these little corporations, too, can help out as far as donating,
It doesn't have to be a monetary, per se,
No.
An in-kind donation of porta potties. You know.
Which are needed. You know?
Yeah.
Scotty's Potties, as a matter of fact.
Scotty's.
There you go.
Exactly. You are part of that.
So yeah, so a lot of people, yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that we really need to thank. We do with signs around the track. We
Sure,
do give them kudos and publicity and things like that. So, you know, just get a hold of us. And if you want to become involved in any way, little or big, just get a hold of us on the web page, and you know, we'll find a place for you.
Now, another part of the relay and a big part of it are the teams that are registered.
Yes.
That they do fundraising as well on their own.
Yeah.
We talked about the plant sale, and that's something I'm involved with because of my wife's relay team. And Marcia, you're part of that as well.
Right.
But how many teams do you have set to go this year?
Right now, I looked at the statistics this morning, so we have 51 teams. So
51?
we're a little down, because last year we had 77 totally. So we have 51 teams right now. So, yeah, we have to put our numbers up. We are lower than last year, and we're getting kind of nervous.
And it's never too late to sign up.
No, we have 52 days left, so we have to keep
So
going.
if someone wants to establish a team, what do they do?
They go right to our website,
back
which
to the
you'll have,
website,
which you can sign up, and you can register a team. You can register as if you don't want to have a team, but you want to participate, you can register under anybody's team. We will gladly welcome you with, you know, the open arms, you know, but you can register right on the website.
And what, if you want to establish a team, what are the steps? What are there requirements? Are there certain things you have to
register your team, get people to help you, you know, and to be on there and to raise funds. We're not a relay that says you can't go on the track and walk unless you raise such and such amount of money. You know, $100 is what we recommend for everybody to raise so they can be members of our Hope Club. We like to give them a little acknowledgement. But it's not, you know, required as far as that's concerned, but it's kind of fun to compete with people and raise more money than the other person next door to you. So that's the thing. Just get people to raise money and have fun with it. It's fun.
And there is some recognition if you reach a certain level of fundraising.
You get awards. American Cancer Society has that, and it's been noted that if you get a little prize, you'll raise more money. So that's what we do. So American Cancer Society does give recognitions in different levels too. So.
Now, what was the results of last year's relay, the final tally in fundraising?
Last year was 180,472, something like that. That was last year's total. 180,000.
And year to year, it's always the goal is to beat last year, correct?
Correct. So it's 185,000 is our goal this year.
Is that
so
right? Okay.
yes.
All right. We talked about the percentage of money that goes back to cancer research and different programs, but I wanted to get to. I know that both of you have been involved in the relay for a long time. And we ask this question of you whenever we get together. And I want to start with you, Marcia, and just get personal. What does it mean to you? What does the Relay for Life mean to Marcia Sharkey? And why do you continue to be out in front of this thing as a leader?
I started relaying, believe it or not, in 1997, 1998 with Mickey, your wife, Mickey. And we started a team with the school, and then a year after doing that at Relay, which blew me away just seeing all the people in the support, I was diagnosed with cancer. So, and my cancer was found on mammogram. It would never have been discovered for years, you know, for a long time if I didn't have my mammogram, which is one of the things that the American Cancer Society does. They educate people to do your screenings. And then that next year, I walked that survival lap with a whole complete different outlook of Relay. And my story doesn't end there, because then I joined the Relay leadership team. I need to say thank you. So that's when I became really involved with everything. And then in 2004, my sister was diagnosed with metastatic stage 4 breast cancer, and she died 2 years after that. So I had started my relay remembering my dad, who had passed away from cancer, with Mickey and our dads, and then me, and then my sister, losing her, being a caregiver for her, where she was my caregiver. My circle goes around. So I still relate to this day. I have grandchildren, I have children. I don't want them to go through what I went through. So my reason to relay is to celebrate my life, to remember everybody that I've lost, and to fight back so they will get that unbeatable cure someday. That's my reason.
Sandy, it's your turn.
I got involved with Relay. It was weird.
It was the year I was speaking.
to this, exactly. I had got laid off from Simon's after 31 years, and I was at a loss. What am I going to do? So I was talking one day with someone who used to be on our leadership committee, and she said, "Oh, you got to come up to Relay and see what goes on." And she said at the Mount, and I thought she meant Mount Wachusett, and we were going to walk up and down mountains. And I'm thinking, not that this body is not going to walk up and down mountains, But after I got that clarified, I went up on that Friday afternoon just to see what was going on. And I went up about 3 o'clock for some reason. And I immediately got pulled into selling raffle tickets with Paul Canavino. And I was just blown away, as Marcia said. It was like a whole community in this little area. People were greeting each other like they had seen each other yesterday when it had been a year. They greeted me like I was a long-lost brother or sister. And I was just blown away. And then Marcia spoke at the Luminaria. And I was so, taken aback by the whole thing. And then I walked the lap. And as I was walking that lap, I felt my mother on my shoulder. And I just, that was it. So I went up to Jim Cody, at the time was the tri-chair, and I said, "I want to be on the committee." And he says, "Okay." He said, "We start in September." He handed me a card, and nobody expected me to be there because, well, I showed up. And I was just going to help out a little bit, and it was only going to be for a year or two. 13 years later, and every year I say that this has to be my last. It's getting too much for me, especially this time of year, trying to,
Do everything.
do all of the
get
things.
everything pulled together, yeah.
And I say, no, I'm too old. And then someone will come in and start talking to me about, somehow or other we'll get into the cancer thing, and I'll find out they were a survivor. They just lost their husband to cancer, something like that. And I'm drawn back in again. I start my elevator speech, which is supposed to be like 15 minutes. Mine is like an hour. And if anyone had ever said to me, say, 15 years ago, that I would be standing in front of thousands of people reading the speech or talking to these people about cancer and things like that, I would call them crazy, because that's not me. Mm-hmm. But I am so passionate about the Cancer Society. Be very careful who you give your. There's so many people out there that need money. All of the Heart Association and all these other places. Be careful who you give your money to, that it doesn't go to corporate for their paychecks, that it goes back into what you're giving the money for. And the Cancer Society is one of those. So I'm still doing it. I threaten every year to quit, and then every September, there she is again, So I've lost my mother to cancer. We just lost our landlord, who happened to be a friend of ours. And for some reason this year, there was like 3 people right in a row. And I'm thinking, you start to think about, what am I doing? Why isn't there a cure? Whatever. But then you hear, I've been a survivor for 30 years. I've been a survivor for 10 years, and you think, that's why I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, we thank you very much, both of you, for that commitment, for your years of service to the Relay for Life. And we want to remind the viewers that it is June 7th and 8th at Mount Wachusett Community College, the track. It's outdoors. Opening ceremonies.
Rain or shine.
Rain or shine. Opening ceremony, 6 p.m. on Friday.
Yes.
And closing ceremonies at 2 p.m. on Saturday.
Correct.
And there's a lot going on in between.
Entertainment, everything.
It's beautiful. Yeah. It's touching. It's meaningful. And it's something that we encourage people to attend just to experience this event.
If you don't know anything about it, just come and visit.
Yeah, come and visit.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on as the relay goes. There's all kinds of raffles and stuff and entertainment throughout.
There's vendors there,
Yeah.
there's food, yes, so you can, yeah.
Is Mr. Parker going to be there this year?
They are my judges for the campsite decorating contest
That's
on Friday
Ben Parker
night.
of WBZ Radio, who
And
has been
Ron Parent, the
a
two of
supporter
them.
of the relay for
Yes.
years and years and years.
Yes. Both him and Ron, are former DJs, are going to
Yeah.
be the official judges for the campsite
Awesome.
decorating.
That's great.
And it's going to be
even know
fun,
that.
so you have to come and see what we've got planned.
One team, one dream.
One dream, yep.
And where can people go for more information?
To our website, www.relayforlife.org/GTR Gardner, Mass.
And everything is there if you want to
Everything.
register a team.
you wanna start
If
a
you just
team.
want information, you want to check on Light the Town Purple events, which are coming up in May
Right.
in Fitchburg, in Gardner, in Leominster, in Westminster. There are other fundraising events that are
Mm-hmm.
happening. We have a plant sale coming up in May.
And all those fundraisers are on the website also.
Great.
And just connect with either one of us if you have a question.
Marcia Sharkey,
Yes.
Sandy Long, thank you again.
Thank
It's
you for
always a
having
pleasure
us so
talking with you
much.
both, and we
Thank
look
you.
forward to seeing you at the Mount.
Yes.
Not climbing the mountain, walking the trail. Thanks again.
Thank you.
you.